Brothers and the occasional sister, it's a Friday night, it's raining cats and dogs outside, and I'm breaking my rule. I'm having my dinner now, which is a smoothie, which has got creatine in it, cocoa, some kiwi fruit ground up, protein powder. God, there's so much blueberries, strawberries, Chinese gooseberries, kiwi fruit basically. No banana in there, chia seed. What else is in there? It's a lot of stuff. How's it taste? Probably pretty rough, I'd say. I'd give that a solid 5.5. Nah, actually, call it just a solid 5. There's mango in there too. And cherries. Should taste better than that. I think that raw cacao is quite bitter. The year is, God, when was it? Late 80s. Just say that. I'm going to change some of the names because these guys are still alive today, and I know they got pissed off when I told the story last time because I have told it before, because it involves drugs and doing stupid things. We decided that we'd jump out of an airplane. We thought that'd be a great idea to go skydiving, but before you could skydive, you had to learn how to just parachute jump. So we wanted to go straight to the free fall, flying around in the air because we were that age where you just want to fly and take drugs and do stupid shit. But no, we had to learn how to actually parachute. So we ended up in this place in Colombo Street, and there was this pimply youth that shouldn't have even been teaching us how to do it. He didn't know what the hell he was really doing. And I remember thinking, is this our teacher? It's such a dangerous thing. And he was very, very average at showing us all the stuff. We had to jump off this beam and roll and carry on and stuff. And it didn't really seem very formal, but anyway, that was it. Next day, we went down Lincoln Road, I think, from memory. Now, my mates, we used to surf a lot and skateboard and go over on our bikes, and this was going to be, like, right at the very top of redlining the fun meter, doing something really mad. And I remember going down the road and us all having a, look at each other, like, the adrenaline was buzzing. I had a bit of the old that morning, so I was buzzing in my ears like a bumblebee's going around my head anyway. And the other two guys, I'm not sure what I'll call them yet. Let's make up some names. Let's just say Aiden. That's A. And what's the name for B? Bill. Aiden and Bill. Fictitious names because these guys are still alive today. Aiden wouldn't mind me talking about, but I definitely know Bill doesn't want to because he does a job where he deals with a lot of children and stuff. So, yeah, let's just call him Bill. I hope I can remember those names. Aiden and Bill. It's so difficult if you don't tell the truth of stuff because you've got to remember. This is the thing about words. When you're speaking your truth, words flow out easy. But if you make stuff up, then you've got to remember shit. And then you trip up over your words. And that's why I like to tell true stories. Because if you make shit up, you can't remember it. And then someone will ask you something or you reference it and you can't remember it. So I sometimes like to fill a gap if I can't remember it with an exact perfect name. But people's names, I generally stick to that name. Sometimes I might get street names wrong and things. But anyway, I digress. So we're going along, Aiden, Bill and me, and this Holden, and looking at each other's face and getting a bit scared, getting a bit nervous, getting the old butterflies. And we arrive at the jump zone and we meet our jump master. He was a short guy who was kind of a bit wide. Everybody's wide there, eh? And he goes through all the protocol of what you got to do. I remember Bill saying, if my parachute doesn't open when I pull it, I'm going to take it off my back and I'm going to put it through my legs and I'm going to pull it back out and I'm going to physically let it out and I'm going to fall upside down. And I thought in theory that's probably pretty good. I said to him, what are you going to do if it fails altogether? He says, I'm going to make a teapot, so when I land on the ground that's the last thing people make, the shape of a teapot. Anyway, we end up getting this tiny little airplane. I think it was a Cessna. They took the door off, so there's the pilot, the jump master, there's Aiden and Bill, and there's a redhead guy who, I don't remember his name anyway, but he was in there, and he was a very quiet guy. And we're all fucking terrified, absolutely terrified. And we had this thing like, who's going to jump out first? Because none of us wanted to jump out first. It was like, oh, I don't want to jump out first. I don't want to see what happens to my mates. And I can't remember if we drew straws or it just ended up that old Muggins here opted to be the one that jumped out first. But it was me that ended up being that position. We're going down the runway and the song was playing. They had this big boombox in the plane, like roped into the plane or wired into the plane, solid there, and it was playing the song. We're on a road to nowhere. Come on inside. Who's that sings that? And they're same as it ever was. That song. What? Oh, somebody. What was that band that sang that? We're on a road to nowhere. Come on inside. I can't remember. But the Jumpmaster was singing that song, and I thought, as we're going down the highway, we're on a road to nowhere. Comment below who the hell sung that song. It's bugging me. Really cool band. They did Psycho Killer, Qu'est-ce que ça. I know all the songs, but I can't pull the name out. Oh, I hate it when that happens. Anyway, we get to 4,500 feet in this tiny little airplane. There's no door on it. The wind's blowing. I'm ready to jump out. What happens is, excuse me eating while I'm talking. I'm just bloody hungry. I'm sorry. I know it's off-putting when someone's smacking eating noises, so I shouldn't do that. Yes, my apologies. We're in this plane and the stall buzzer goes, because the plane gets into a climb and they slow right down. When it goes, it's time for you to bail out. That's when the airspeed is as slow as the pilot can get it, and when it's as safe as you can get it. Now, we've got these static lines that we're clipped onto. The Jumpmaster's got a knife here, and the knife is if anybody gets tangled up inside the aircraft or connected to the aircraft. He said, if you are in the aircraft and your chute goes out, I will cut everything on you as quick as I can, because that's how we've had accidents. Other things that happen where people have got tangled up in the tail of the plane and been smacked against it and killed. A lot of things can go really, really wrong. Now, I looked over at Bill's face and it was completely white. Bill was like what are those people that've got like really pasty skin and white skin? He was like an albino anyway, but he'd gone from sort of white now to a green colour. And Aiden had gone from his brown colour, because he had part Māori in him, to a pasty white or a half Spanish white, and our mouths had all dried out because we were terrified. And I looked out the window of this plane and there's these tiny little squares, all these little squares in our paddocks below, and these little tiny matchbox toys of cars going down lines of roads, and there's a big arrow they've got, and you've got to go and fly into the wind when you're landing, and you've got to aim this arrow, and I'm looking down this tiny little fucking arrow right down, thinking, shit, I'm not going to be able to get to that. That's tight. It's at 4,500 feet. Now, I think at 4,000 feet from memory, and I might be wrong, and you guys that jump out of airplanes will know this, I think at 4,000 feet, if your chute doesn't open, yeah, it's 30 seconds before you hit the deck, so it's not a lot of time to sort stuff out. It's pretty quick. Oh, that's tasting better as I eat it. So, I'm getting hot. I need to take this top off. We're on this thing here, and the buzzer's gone, and it's my turn to jump out. Now, you've got a static line that connects you to the plane, and that's what pulls your little chute out. If your chute doesn't open and anything goes wrong, you've got a reserve on there that you can pop open. At this stage here, I'm like, heart's going, my face has gone white. My mate's looking at me, everybody's face gone white. The red-haired guy is just saying nothing. He's gone silent. And the Jumpmaster's smiling, he's wired. And I'm thinking, this is a fucking stupid idea. But you can't really back out when you're with your mates. I'm wanting to back out, but I realise I can't. And I also, at that point, up into my whole life, had a fear of heights. And such a weird fear of heights. Like, I would be standing on a wharf, and I get this weird feeling like, oh, fuck, I want to jump in because I'm scared. Or if I get on a building, I'm going to jump off. I'm just about to have this feeling of I'm going to do it, and I'd pull myself back in my brain, and some wiring is not right in my head. I always had this fear, and to overcome the fear, I thought I have to do it and jump so I don't fall. I know it makes no sense at all. It's completely illogical, but that's just a little fucked up part of the wiring in my head, which I've always had a few loose wires in there, and that's one of those things I had. So this time I was actually looking over, having the fear, but I was going to jump, and I knew I'd do it. And I got to the edge of the plane with the stall buzzer, getting ready to go, waiting for the Jumpmaster, and he said when the stall buzzer goes, that's your cue, and it hadn't quite gone, and I'm waiting there, he's getting ready for it, and it goes, and I go to jump, but I can't move, and he goes, jump, and I'm like, it's going, and I'm still standing there, I'm frozen, I look down, and he goes, jump, and then I get that thing in my head, fucking, it's a long way down, you'll die, jumped out, and when we jumped out, we're supposed to go 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and simulate the time, and then pretend to pull our cord. So when the day comes, we jump without a static line, and we open our chute up. We do it ourselves. So I jumped out. I went 1,000. I couldn't breathe, man. I was like, I was choking. I couldn't say anything, and I tried to talk, and nothing came out. I was terrified. And then the static line opened my chute, and then this fucking pain on my nuts. Got these two straps, and I must have had one going right over one of my taties. And it just went, oh, gee, it was painful. All I could think was, I'm going to die with sore testicles. It's like, it really hurt. It really hurt. Anyway, I'm out, and I'm looking up. I think it was Aiden that jumped out, but then Bill was out, and then the redhead guy was out, and then Bill was going towards me, and we got stuck in a cloud together, and I was scared he was going to crash into me, because you can control your chutes, you can slow them down and speed them up by pulling the risers, you can turn. And he came out of this cloud, and he's let his risers go, and he's got this bloody Bic lighter, and he's got this great big Cheech and Chong fucking log of a thing he's trying to light up while he's in the sky. And all I can think of is, what if he sets his parachute on fire? What if he actually gets the fire going? And I think he actually got the bloody thing going with all that air, because he wanted to smoke this big joint on the way down. And all I was thinking is, either his parachute's going to catch on fire, or he's going to fly into me, because him and I were coming to the same altitude, because I'd slowed down, he'd sped up. I don't know what we were thinking. Anyway, I did a good landing, he did a good landing, and so did the other two boys. And that was our jump. The following weekend, we went back up again, and pretty much textbook jumped out again, first one. But my second jump the following weekend, it went pear-shaped. Headphones we had, where they could talk to us from the ground, but we couldn't talk to them. So the ground could tell you what to do and give instruction. I'm on my second jump, and everything, well, I'm about to go, we're in the plane, everything's been going good till now. We've pretty much done everything, and we're confident. I've just done one this morning, and I'm doing a second one. We get time for a second one. And this time I bailed out last, I think, from memory. And when I went out of the plane, I did the perfect 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. And I thought, that's funny. I didn't feel that tug on my nuts. It didn't hurt. And I look up, and here's my parachute, and it's done a Roman candle. It's all twisted. And I looked up, and I thought, fuck, that doesn't look good. Now, we were trained, if this happened, one of the trainings that we did get when we were in Colombo Street was, you had to turn your legs one way and your risers the other if you got a Roman candle, if it did. So I'm like trying to fucking open up the chute, and I've got my legs below, they go like this, going across, and I'm trying to get the thing open, and I can hear in my radio, in my headphones, jettison your main, pull your reserve, jettison your main. And I look at my altimeter, I'm at 2,500 feet, or just a little bit above, and I know that at 1,000 feet, you've got to have your reserve open by then pretty much. You could open lower, you might break a few legs, or something might go wrong, but I know at this stage that I've got a bit of time, and I don't want to jettison my main, because I know I've got to rely on 100% the guy that packed it, that it won't stuff up, and I don't know who that dude is. He could be some guy that was toking too much electric broccoli himself that night, or hung over and did a shit job. And I've got all these things going through my head a million miles an hour, and I'm trying to get these risers untangled, and I still haven't got it untangled, and then I get one side pops out a little bit, and it's going fluffing, and the other side's still tangled, and they're going, jettison your main again. And I looked at my altimeter, it's 1,500 metres, and I still haven't got it out, and I'm thinking I'm not going to wait till I'm going to get to 1,000 before I jettison it. And I went to look down again, and this time I could hear them from the ground. They were shouting, jettison your main. It was blowing my headphones, but I could actually hear them from the ground, the noise of this here. And just as I was about to jettison it, take that and pull, I did one final one, and it popped open, and then I was on the ground. It just happened that quick. And the jump master kept running up to me. I thought he was going to hit me. It was like, you fucking idiot, you don't do that here. You should have jettisoned that main a long time ago. You pushed it to the max. And my heart was going, and I had so much adrenaline, I just remember thinking, oh wow, I nearly died. Wow, That was wicked. This rush through my whole body, and the jump master was screaming at me like all these noises, and all I could see was his face, and his face was red, and his eyes were popping out of his head, and I had this adrenaline going through my body. He said, "You're not jumping here again," and all I could think was, whoa. I never did jump again. That was it. I decided I would quit while I was ahead, and that was my little moment in life of pushing the envelope a bit hard, but lucky. We did a lot of stupid things. Our frontal lobes were not fully developed at that age, and we had stunted the growth of our frontal lobes by the copious amounts of electric broccoli that we were smoking back then. But also, men, until you get to 25, you do dumbass shit. The other boys never did another jump either, and I'm glad they didn't, because they're still around today, and we still hang out and talk about this. Anyway, that's a Bro Check Club video for you tonight. I'm going to scoff the rest of this delightful looking stuff and get my gear ready for a hunt in the morning, because the weather's good tomorrow and the next day. Have a great weekend, brothers and the occasional sister, and I'll see you in the next Bro Check Club video. See you later.